Well, how's this for a daunting endeavor? Around the world alone, sailing, something like 28,000 miles. They're at it as we speak. Maybe you remember some months ago, Derek Hatfield was on the program. He is one of the contestants in this race. Louis Vieira is part of his team. Hi, Louis.
Hi.
How's this race going? Where are they now?
Excellent. He's off the coast of South Africa.
South Africa.
He's about 2,500 miles from South Africa, from Cape Town.
That's a fair way down.
Yeah, he's got about 12 days before he closes it on the coast.
Okay, here's the route. They started in what, Newport?
Yep.
Across the Atlantic to England. And then now this route, or this leg, goes down the coast of Africa to South Africa, although they go all the way to South America almost to catch the winds.
Yeah, absolutely. He's off the coast of Brazil right now, actually.
And then is the nasty one. They go from Cape Town all the way around between you know, Australia and New Zealand and around Cape Horn through that nasty Antarctic Ocean. Oh, God, what an ordeal that's going to be. So how's it gone for them so far? They had a monster storm. They all had to go into Spain.
Yeah, you had to sit tight in Spain for a while, and they left, so they're behind the first fleet of boats, the large boats, the 60-footers. Derek's in the second class.
The big boats could go through this storm? Or
they're just faster, so they were lucky enough to get away. And Derek and the rest of his class pulled into Spain to stay out of the weather.
Huh. So how many days is this leg?
This leg will be about it'll be about 30 days. 30 days,
yeah, long ago. Now the problem, and there's another Canadian entrant as well. This is amazing. We only had one in the race ever before. It was back in the 80s.
Well, that's right.
Now we've got two in this race, and the other guy is, well, Derek's no kid, but the other gentleman's even older. How's he doing?
John's doing great.
John Dennis.
John Dennis, that's right. He's pulling in behind Eric. You know, he's on a large boat, but yeah, he's hanging in, and it's been a trial for everyone.
Yeah.
But John's hanging in. It's going to be a good race right here.
Well, John Dennis had a big sponsor. He got Bayer because he's diabetic, and it is the Bayer Essentia, which is their the drug, I guess, and that's the name of his boat. But Derek's going out there. I mean, he doesn't have the big name sponsor.
Absolutely.
Is he going to go broke? Is he going to?
Well, he's using a lot of his resources. We've had a tremendous amount of support from the general public, which has been great. We're still looking for a title sponsor, though. That's been the struggle.
That's what you need, a big name across the sails or something.
Yeah. It's great exposure. You know, the coverage is phenomenal across the planet.
Yeah, well, I follow it almost every day. I go and check in and see how they're doing. What's a campaign like this cost?
Derek's campaign will run in about 700,000 Canadian.
Really?
But he's competing. He's in second place to Tommy Hilfiger, the boat sponsored by Tommy Hilfiger, and that's a multi-million-dollar campaign.
No doubt it is. Well, he built half this thing himself. Well, I mean, in a certain way. I mean, there's been more volunteer work done on this boat than any I can imagine.
Absolutely. It's taken him 4 years to build a boat. A tremendous amount of support from equipment suppliers and sponsors that way. Yeah,
but it's all nickel and dime stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not the big thing. So why couldn't you get the big one? Why?
I think the economy has a lot to do with it, and I think the optics of sailing in Canada. It's still perceived as a fairly elitist sport here, which is unusual because everywhere else on the planet it's fairly accessible to children, to the general population. But North America, it's still a perception issue.
So you're still beating on doors, seeing if you can come up with
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just trying to find that title sponsor that wants that global coverage.
Yeah, well, get aboard now before the thing's over. What do you hear from Derek? I mean, you can be in communication these days.
Oh, he's enjoying it right now. He just came over the equator, so it's T-shirt weather, and he's just charging up his batteries, and he's got a lot of work to do when he gets into Cape Town, and just a lot of things to line up in terms of just the cost of getting this work done. So we're just trying to organize that. And
I was reading somewhere that he was making 14 or 15 knots in that boat.
Oh yeah, he does 20 to 25 on a good stretch.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that is not a big, heavy boat. This thing's a flat-out racer.
He was struggling this morning trying to use the toilet, so he's pounding away upwind right now. So that's a struggle. The boat's not designed to go upwind. So.
Oh, but he's got 2,500 miles of it to do.
Yep.
Oh, great. When you're out there alone like that, it's one thing to just finish the course, and that's an accomplishment I can't imagine. But to be racing every day, every night, all day, all night, how do you put up with that? How's he doing?
He's doing well. I think that's what keeps him going. Derek's, I think, a fairly competitive person by nature, and the race gives him a context to do this in. You know, it's a phenomenal place to be out in the middle of the ocean, and this having the race and the competitors out there adds to it.
Can you really keep that killer instinct going all that way? I mean, because you don't see the competitors. You're out there in the in the middle of this ocean. I mean, they're not side by side racing. I don't know how you just keep that edge all the time.
Derek right now between second and third place is about 20 miles of a difference. This is after 5,000 miles of racing, and in the past these races have been minutes or hours after 30,000 miles of racing that they're that far apart. It's fairly close racing.
Wow. Now, what happens when he hits Cape Town? Did you have a contingent going over there to help him?
We got one body over there that's got to help him out, and he's carrying all his tools. A lot of the other campaigns have containers and a full fleet of people or staff to take the boat apart and get it sorted out for the next leg. And Derek's got one volunteer over there that's helping him out.
And his toolbox on board. So when he finishes this thing, he has to get out and start fixing the boat.
Oh, yeah. He's fixing it as he goes as well, just trying to keep it together. And the boat's got about 20,000 miles on it now, and it needs some work. But it's hanging in there.
Louis, I thought there was some urgency. I thought there was this whole campaign was at risk. I thought it might be that he got to Cape Town. He's just after all the years and the debts and so on. He just couldn't afford to go further.
There's a possibility of that. The thing is, a lot of the funds are coming out of Derek's own pocket, his retirement fund, essentially, to a certain extent. But there's just not enough for any contingencies. Ideally, we'd like to get in and buy new sails for the boat and keep it competitive. To stay competitive, it requires some funds.
And you got to know that by the time he hits Cape Town.
Absolutely.
How do you keep track of this thing? I mean, if people want to follow, what's the way to do it?
spiritofcanada.net is the email, the website, and they can follow it on a daily basis and find out where Derek is by the minute.
And make a donation if they want to.
Absolutely.
That way.
Yeah. We have a campaign right now where it's called Around Together, where individuals from the public can donate $50 and get their name on the side of the boat and go around the world with Derek.
That's not bad. For $50, he could use it. Is there prize money? What if he does win the leg or something?
No, not really. This is really it's about it's the adventure.
That's the adventure. Wow, what an adventure it is. Well, if you're interested to see how they're going, spiritofcanada.net. Louis Vieira, he's helping with the race, solo around the world. Thanks. Well, we're going to take a break. Back to land next, to the shoe business.